The gods. The gods have lifted my curse.
Guys, is it controversial to say that Percy Jackson Season 2 is actually pretty good? Don't get me wrong, it isn't perfect, and I have some issues with it, especially in the second half. I think we should all take a moment to acknowledge the massive improvement in quality from everyone involved. Genuinely good job. Percy Jackson Season 1 was pretty lifeless, and whatever issues I have with Season 2, and I do have some issues, I will say it was at least full of life. I had fun watching it. That being said, they made some pretty huge changes from the book, in essence kind of giving up on the idea of it being a completely faithful adaptation to try and make improvements to the story, and honestly, some hit for me, while others were just horrendous blunders. And I can't believe I'm saying this in a public forum, there were actually 2 major characters that the show does do better than the book. Please don't hurt me. And then I have to discuss the ending. Honestly, if you haven't seen the show, you will not believe how it ends. Like, it has some huge implications for the future of the universe. But enough foreplay, enough teasing, let's explore these changes together. The story in the show starts much more streamlined. In the book, the Giants actually attack Percy at school first, where Tyson beats them to death. They then return to camp using the cab, only to discover a flaming bull is wreaking havoc. Tyson then proceeds to squash this beef, pun very much intended, but I think the bulls didn't add much, so we didn't really lose much, aside from a cool visual shot of a fire-breathing mechanical bull. Okay, as I'm saying it out loud, I realize we did actually miss out on something, because that would have been fucking sick. Another significant difference is that by the time the heroes have arrived at the camp, the tree has already been poisoned. Hence the bull scene, they entered the camp already. It sort of creates a mystery of who done it. I mean, it's obviously Luke, but there still is some mystery.
Luke poisoned her.
The show then continues by the book. The chariot race happens, but unlike in the show, Annabeth isn't trying to sabotage Percy. They're merely fighting because of Tyson, really. The whole Annabeth finds out about the prophecy and has to betray Percy is completely unique to the show. That whole conflict didn't happen. Sort of. I mean, Annabeth does know part of the prophecy, but she just tells Percy when he asks. He just doesn't want to know at the beginning because he's scared of what it means. Either way, Clarisse wins the chariot race and is chosen to go on the quest to get the Golden Fleece. But unlike in the show, she actually has the right coordinates. Honestly, we're off to a pretty good start so far. Some changes, but they also have some excitement, and I like that. The sisters' cab scene was so fun, and the CGI is so much better this season. Plus, the characters are a huge improvement from season 1. Percy's just a whole different character. He's actually starting to show some of the sass that he's famous for.
Just in time, listen, you're gonna love this. I found a way to save camp from destruction.
Unbelievable.
I wouldn't say he completely embodies the character that we all know yet, but now he feels more like a distant cousin rather than a completely different species. What is still missing is his ADHD hyperimpulsivity. But hey, they're trying to do the comedy and it does land a lot of the times.
How do I look? Beautiful.
He is still emotionally too mature for me though. But maybe it bothers me less this season because he looks older, so it doesn't feel as out of place. I will say, puberty hit this boy like a truck that's sending him to an isekai. When he was wearing a toga, he looks more like a frat boy than a trick-or-treater. And you know, you can't stop nature, so I'll just have to accept it, but it is kind of funny to think that it's only been like a year. Then again, I accepted that this fully grown beefcake of a man known as Tom Welling played a 15-year-old boy. Yeah, Hollywood age casting can be hilarious, so you know, Percy ain't too bad actually. In the book, his decision to go on the quest was not pre-planned. I will admit that the scene where he's talking to Poseidon and asking him to stay out of his way was a fucking sick scene, okay?
I'm not asking for your help. And I'm not asking for permission.
However, I do think that the book handles it so much better. Because, in all honesty, he gets conned into going by Hermes. Percy has no plan on going anywhere, he just wants to go by the sea and have a think. He takes some Diet Coke and he sits down. Then a god jogs up, and I mean that literally, jogs up, and is like, I mean, you could go on the quest. Why not? Oh look, there's a boat, and here comes your friends. Oh, and also, by the way, I packed your bags for you already. Also, you have about 5 minutes to decide to leave or you get eaten by harpies. Good luck, guys. Like, this shows that Percy was sort of forced to go, but he also goes with the flow. It was such a Percy moment. He's like, oh my god, the gods are making me do this, but it's happening. Screw it, might as well make the best of it. However, talking about the positives, they did get rid of one aspect of Percy in the books that never really made sense to me. And it was how he switched up on Tyson after he found out they were brothers. Okay, so hear me out. The book starts with Percy clearly stating that he protects Tyson and this alienates him from everyone at school. I was pretty much his only friend, which meant he was my only friend. This is a trait that is continually shown throughout the series. Percy sort of befriends and protects the weak. He does the exact same thing with Grover in book 1. It is a very heroic trait, and it also shows that he isn't scared to stand up for what he believes in, even if he has to stand alone. But then he finds out that Tyson is his brother and immediately becomes ashamed of him. Like, I know it is sort of different because they're related and it's more complex than that, and it would have helped to make Percy seem more immature, which is something I've been complaining about. I want him to be less mature, and this would have helped with that. But that dynamic was never part of the book I liked. It didn't make Percy seem very authentic. Like, imagine if someone told you you're hot as fuck, but then got offended when someone says they look like you. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're great, as long as you're not connected to me in any way. But my own personal opinions aside, there have been some huge changes to their relationship from the start. That really does affect their dynamic. Firstly, Tyson is still living on the streets at the beginning of the book. He just goes to Percy's school. In the show, Sally sort of adopts him. Secondly, in the book, Tyson knows he is the son of Poseidon. He just doesn't know that Percy is too. Once he finds out who Percy is, it immediately clocks to him that they're brothers. It just takes a minute for Percy to make that same realization. And third and most important part of them all, Percy does not know that Tyson is a Cyclops. He only finds out in chapter 4. The mist keeps Percy from realizing. I looked Tyson in the face. It wasn't easy. I'd always had trouble looking directly at him, though I'd never quite understood why. I thought it was just because he always had peanut butter in his crooked teeth. I forced myself to look at his big lumpy nose, then higher at his eyes. No, not eyes. One eye. Speaking of Tyson, he's a very different character in the show, and I kind of think I prefer this version. Now, I'm only considering book 2. I know Tyson grows, and I actually really like his character sort of as he develops. But in book 2, he's basically the Hulk, but as a blacksmith. His manner of speaking aside, which is also very simple and caveman talk, he's just a big crybaby who will also bash your head in. I know that's the point of his character, so I'm not like taking points away for that, but the crybaby trope has just never worked for me. I didn't like Usopp, and I didn't like Tyson very much in this book. But again, that is subjective. If you liked Tyson in the book, you probably won't like him in the show. In the TV show, Tyson has been shown to have normal human intelligence. They just made him naive to the world. However, making Tyson a pacifist, in my opinion, was such a great idea. Book Tyson in no way is a pacifist. He smashes anything that gets in his way. Bronze bulls, Poli, he even takes a swing at Luke a few times. But TV show Tyson is the best brother you could ask for. He won't hurt a fly until Percy is in danger. And even then, he won't like it, but he will still crush you. He is ride or die, but you're the one that's dying. Do you know what I mean? The fact that he actually liked Luke's crew, thought they were cool, and could have been their friend, but like none of that mattered because Percy was in danger, so he didn't hesitate to blow them up. I really loved that. It was such a sign of loyalty. The scene where he has to tell Poli to stop because he doesn't want to hurt him was aura farming. And I love a good aura farm.
Please! I don't want to hurt you.
But yeah, enough about Tyson. Grover is next. Grover is also better than season 1, as he actually feels resourceful. He's useful, just not in a fighter way, and that's exactly who he is in the books. They also got rid of that really weird social awkwardness that I really did not like in season 1.
Oh golly, the road's getting bumpy.
And they actually made him more similar to the book. They gave him this like empathetic, young spirit guide vibe.
You're angry. You feel she betrayed you. Percy.
I will say, I'm not sure about the change that the mental link magically just happened because they're such good friends.
Super rare. It can only happen between best friends.
It's kind of the same problem I have in Harry Potter with love beating Voldemort. Like, no one else loves their child enough to die for them? Sus. In this case, you're saying it only appears amongst best friends and rarely. I mean, like, it's special to you. Why is it special to the universe? In the book, Grover consciously created the link. It is said to be rare because it's difficult to pull off, plus the risks are immense. If Grover dies while the link is still there, a part of Percy will die too, and he would share his fate or face other dire consequences. And look, Percy, I'm really sorry about this, but this empathy link, well, I had no choice. Our emotions are connected now. If I die, don't tell me I'll die too. Well, perhaps not. You might live for a few years in a vegetative state. It reinforces their friendship. Percy is never mad at Grover for making this link and putting him in danger because he knows that he would have told Grover to do it anyway. And Grover never doubted for a second that if Percy knew he was in danger, he would come save him. It's such a show don't tell moment about why their friendship works. Plus, in the show, they are sort of sharing a dream.
You in my dream or mine yours, or?
I think both. Like we're creating the same dream at the same time.
But in the book, it's more like Percy is astro projecting. He is seeing things happen to Grover in real life, which is allowing him to gather data. Whatever you prefer is down to your own preference. I'm not here to tell you which is better, which is worse. Either way, their relationship still isn't as strong as in the books. I actually believe they're friends, unlike in season 1 where I was like, they're not.
How do I look?
Beautiful.
Next, Annabeth. She was my biggest gripe in season 1, and they really had to fix her to make season 2 work. Like, alright, if they didn't fix Grover, it wouldn't be great, but the whole story wouldn't collapse upon itself like a badly made Jenga tower. Annabeth is one of the main characters this season, and honestly, they did do her better. I wouldn't say she improved as much as some of the other characters I will discuss, and I'm not really sure she feels like Annabeth to me, but taking the book character out of the equation for a second, this version in itself is a more engaging character. This is way better than the one-dimensional Annabeth we got in season 1. Now, I am going to be talking about her relationship with Percy, and if you are a big shipper, you may not like it. But unfortunately for you, you can't fight me because you don't know where I am. So there, I am a little disappointed in the fan shipping this season. Don't get me wrong, I do love Percy and Annabeth as a couple. They are probably my favourite couple across all the books, and the actors do have chemistry. But it feels like, to me, they skipped the friends part of their relationship. Like, originally, book 1 was getting to know each other. Book 2 was the friendship, book 3 was the transition, and then book 4 and 5 onwards was like the coupling. Now, I'm not too proud to admit I ate their romantic scenes up like a greedy little goblin.
It only took me 2 days to see how special you were. Annabeth, I burned it all down.
I just sort of wish they had held on to it for season 3. I feel like without the friends part of their development, the end resulting relationship will just be weaker. That is just how I feel. And honestly, the Percy Jackson season should be on Amazon Prime considering how much shipping they're doing. All jokes aside, let's look at Annabeth as a character. They are letting her do what she does best in this season, which is make the plans. I have decided that I have found the perfect example to differentiate what Percy and Annabeth are like for my anime fans. Annabeth is Deku and Percy is Bakugo. This is a spoilers for My Hero Academia. If you haven't seen the anime, no worries, it will still all make sense once I explain it. The anime makes it clear that Deku makes the plans. He comes up with the ideas and the solutions. He is a problem solver, but he is at his best when he has time to think, time to consider all the options. Bakugo, on the other hand, is intuitive. He will jump straight into the fray head first. There may be a plan, they may not, but if there's not, he is not waiting long enough to figure one out. But that's when he does his best thinking, those split-second decisions, in the moment. Now that doesn't mean that Deku can't think on his feet, and that doesn't mean that Bakugo can't pre-prepare. It just means that they're at their best in their own territories. These two are the same. Here's how their dynamic should work. Annabeth creates the plan. If the plan works, great, amazing. If it doesn't, Percy's the one that comes up with this crazy ADHD impulsive decision to get them out of that moment. And it's the perfect dynamic that works for them. The scene where Percy challenges Clarisse to a fight is a great scene to show this. Percy has no plan really. He's like, let's just fight it out and see what happens. Annabeth though, she has the plan. She kills all of Clarisse's men to force Clarisse in a situation where she needs to accept their help. Without a navigator, Clarisse ain't going nowhere, and the one she had is now dust. Plus it's sort of scummy because Percy said it's a one-on-one fight, but then also Annabeth points out that they're not really people, so she didn't kill anyone, so it's sort of self-justifying it.
You killed them? They were already dead, so not really.
But one significant change they made is her mindset in regards to Luke. In the books, it is her greatest desire to save Luke, as shown by the sirens. She wants her dad, she wants her mum, and she wants Luke with her. but she never really actively tries to save him. She has a mission and she will do the mission. Like I said, she's a practical person. I will say though, it is a hell of a lot easier to have this save him mentality for this version of Luke. Because in the book, I said it before, he is an evil bastard. He is fully committed to the dark side. Not only does he not try to save Annabeth like in the show, he orders a monster to eat her. Like fully in front of him and Percy. Enjoy my adoptive sister as a snack. One thing I want you to watch before you die, Percy. He looked at the bear man Aureus, who was still holding Annabeth and Grover by the necks. You can eat your dinner now, Aureus. Bon appetit. So yeah, the show version is kind of an angel by comparison. They had to invent a whole new character called Allison who does all the evil shit for Luke just so there's any sense of danger. In the book, he never appears on the island, which honestly I don't think he should have been. The whole point was that he forced them to go get it for him. What's the point if you can just teleport there? And while we're discussing the island, the Poli plot twist was almost amazing. They really fumbled it as they crossed the finish line. For those who haven't read the books, the show made the reveal that Poli knew it was Grover all along, and was allowing Grover to continue to lure more people for him to eat. In the books though, like Tyson, Poli is much less intelligent. He genuinely does believe everything. It isn't a ploy, he's just caveman brained. And I genuinely thought it was a fantastic change. It made the threat feel so much more sinister. And the scene where he's doing the voices was genuinely chilling.
I learned of things like classic rock and anime.
It actually might be the highlight of the season. Here is the problem. Poli talks of a plan to use them as bait, but there is no plan. Show me the plan. What was the plan? He just goes about his day, paints a little bit of wool gold, and then when they make some noise, he does a ridiculous run and then loses a fit fight to Tyson. They made him a hell of a lot weaker in the show as well. In the book, they all fought him and lost. It wasn't until Percy goes crazy, basically blacks out into full battle mode, that he's able to defeat Poli. Even he doesn't know how he did it. He just says he woke up and there's Poli underneath him. But then he chooses to spare him as he feels like it's not really Poli's fault. And you know, he's trying to be more empathetic because Poli reminds him a bit of Tyson. It's Cyclops to Cyclops nostalgia, I guess. In the show, he's just thrown off a cliff and is swimming with the fishes. All I'm saying is, don't imply a master plan. And then the plan is, I painted some wool gold. End of plan. Also, how did he train a kraken to fish for him? Either way, overall, I would still consider Poli a positive character in the show. It's just he could have been the best moment in the show, but he's not. Okay, before I discuss the finale, I have to discuss the shining light of the season, and it has a name.
Clarisse LaRue.
The difference between Clarisse in the books and the show can be described in one word: competence. Clarisse in the book is the most irritating character and honestly almost ruined the whole thing for me. Let me give you a rundown of what she does in the second book. 1. She almost gets killed by the Bronze Bull before being saved by Percy and gang. 2. She's chosen for the quest but decides to take no one with her, just an army that Ares gave her. 3. When entering the Sea of Monsters, she is given 2 choices like in the show. Unlike in the show, there isn't this idea that you have to sacrifice 6 men. Percy suggests that they just go hide below deck so the tentacles can't reach them. Clarisse just says she would rather fight a giant whirlpool monster because she wants to use her guns. My cannons can't shoot straight up. Charybdis just sits at the center of her whirlpool. We're going to steam straight towards her, train our guns on her, and blow her to Tartarus. She said it with such relish, I almost wanted to believe her. If that isn't the most American thing that has ever happened in the Percy Jackson universe. And 4, which is the worst bit, everything else I could forgive. This is the worst part. Grover is successfully hiding from Poli. Again, he has convinced Poli that he is a female Cyclops and they will get married. Clarisse, for absolutely no reason, nothing under the sun can explain this, decides to out Grover not once, not twice, but 3 times. As in, Poli is dumb as a rock. He isn't getting it, so she just points and explains it to him slowly so she can make sure he understood it. It genuinely felt like she was just trying to get Grover killed. What satyr? Asked Polyphemus. Satyr are good eating. You bring me satyr? No, you big idiot, bellowed Clarisse. That satyr. Grover, the one in the wedding dress. When I tell you I was so irritated by this because she can't be that dumb and also lead the Ares camp. There was no need for that situation, and she made the whole situation more difficult, which is the entire theme of her character in book 2. And we're not done. Then when they're escaping, and remember Poli is basically blind, great at hearing but can't see for shit, she decides to taunt him, so she gives away their location and Poli destroys their ship. 6. When she finally takes the fleece back, the mission succeeded, the quest is done, instead of some level of mutual respect with Percy, she's just telling him, nah, I'm waiting for another opportunity to take you down. Look, this isn't me calling her incompetent, it is canon in the story. No one, literally no one can believe that Percy gave Clarisse the fleece, not even Luke, because no one can believe she is competent enough to simply get on a plane without fucking it up. Percy, Annabeth said, that was so generous, Grover offered. Insane, Annabeth corrected. You're betting the lives of everyone at camp that Clarisse will get the fleece safely back by tonight. In the show, Clarisse is not only a badass, but she never actively rage baits me, and I'm okay with that. At the beginning, she is shown to be a competent leader as she successfully protects the camp. She is leading the troops. She is shown to actively care about her zombie troops, and when she does change direction in the Sea of Monsters, it's shown to be an emotional decision. It isn't that she wanted to use her guns, it's that she couldn't stand watching her men perish. This is an understandable character flaw, especially for someone her age. She takes out several demigods in straight combat, showing that she is actually meant to be one of the most skilled warriors. And more importantly, her decision making makes sense. She never puts the mission actively in danger. She wants what is best for the mission, but she's also utilitarian. She can't prioritize the life of one camper over the success of the mission.
Rescue mission is a risk and I'm done risking this quest or camp for anyone else.
Look, she may not like Percy, but she was still going to choose him as she knew he was the best choice for the quest before Annabeth stopped her. If you could really describe the three, Percy is the heart, Annabeth is the strategy, but Clarisse is the resolve. And I can completely understand why she was chosen to lead the camp. In the book, she is a bull in a china shop and a complete liability at every turn. Okay, you know what, that isn't completely fair. She did kill a Hydra with their ship. Oh yeah, in the book there's a Hydra that is magically linked to a donut shop. Doesn't hugely matter. I will say though, she's not perfect in the show either. There is one gripe I have, which is that they never resolved the warriors being promised heaven storyline. Like, she literally goes, you can follow me, become heroes, and go to Greek heaven.
It won't be to the fields of punishment. You will be exalted in the fields of Elysium.
And then they die, and they never actually addressed the fact that she full-on lied to them. She gave them false hope and condemned them for nothing. I thought there'd be like a throwaway line like, oh yeah, my dad was proud, so he granted me a boon. Or hell, just an acknowledgement that she was wrong and she shouldn't have promised things she can't. But yeah, no, none of that. They're still in Greek hell waiting to be saved. But that was just a small thing. Overall, great character. Really enjoyed watching her this season. Now, I've covered all the major characters, but I want to discuss the finale, which honestly creates some huge implications for Strange. Let's start with the fact that Luke did not know that the fleece would restore Talia. I did not like this. It was my least favorite thing this season. Let me explain. In the book, them getting the fleece and it restoring Talia was all part of Kronos' plan. He put the wheels in motion. He got Luke to poison the tree in order to get a new child of prophecy, because he felt Percy was too wild to control. Kronos was right, Percy. You're an unreliable weapon. You need to be replaced. He felt he had a better chance controlling Talia. This was a genius reveal. The fact that the heroes did everything right, and in a way they were still merely puppets, this made Kronos feel like such a threat. A Palpatine or Eisen style character where he has plan upon plans and you never know if you're like actually beating him or if this is all just part of his elaborate plan. I'd learnt with Kronos there was usually a plan within a plan. The Titan Lord wasn't called the Crooked One for nothing. He had ways of getting people to do what he wanted without them ever realizing his true intentions. Like, genuinely think about it. If Luke gets the fleece, his body is restored. If Percy gets the fleece, he restores Kronos' best chance to make the prophecy happen. Like, it's just such a good plan. It's so good. I also find it weird that this new emotional Luke actually thought he was killing his friend tree.
That tree is her curse. She'd be glad to see it fall.
And you know what? I could forgive that. I actually could. Maybe he was like, it's a tree, it don't matter. But then he found out that Talia could be restored, and he still launched an invasion that almost led to the tree being used as firewood. So this wasn't some multi-leveled plan, they just got lucky they're incompetent. Also, I cannot get over the fact that they did the reveal of Talia before. I don't know about you, but the plot twist when I first read it all those years ago blew my fucking mind. I literally never even thought of it as a possibility. So even though it was a children's book, and I know heroes were going to win at the end, I did not predict the ending. If I hadn't read the book, I would still know they're restoring Talia. You literally told me it's going to happen. It's not a reveal if you bang me across the head with it. That scene could have been so good. They do everything the same. They restore the tree. You see the barrier forming. They think that's it. They've won. And then Talia comes out of nowhere to shoot lightning everywhere. It would have been so good. But no, Annabeth dreamt about it. Dead. I'm sorry. The worst thing they did this season. I stand by that. I will say though, Talia looks really awesome. I'm not gonna lie. She also feels more powerful, but it might just be my imagination because we haven't really seen it do anything yet. Honestly, in the book, she's a little bit of a disappointment in terms of power compared to some of the other characters. Like, your dad is Zeus. I feel like you should be a level higher. And I never really got that feeling from Talia, if I'm being completely honest. But it does feel like they're gonna do more with her in the show. But now the biggest change of them all, and probably the reason you clicked on this video. They made Zeus a huge douchebag. Now, if you haven't both seen the book and the TV show, let me explain the difference. Talia sacrificed her life to save her friends, was killed by monsters. Zeus took pity on her, turned her into a tree, which reinforced the borders of Camp Half-Blood. They talk about that in the show. That is exactly what happens in the book. In the show, though, it is currently revealed that none of that happened. No. It turns out that the Furies never attacked Talia, they just wanted to talk. And then after Talia found out about the prophecy, because the Furies told her, Zeus was like, join me, and she went no, and Zeus zapped her into a tree. It's two polar opposites. In one case, he was saving her. In the other case, he was condemning her. This has huge implications for the story and the themes, because Zeus is an absolute tyrant. In the book, Zeus is shown to be short-tempered and he will smite you, but he's also shown to be reasonable. For example, in the first book, he keeps trying to kill Percy, but after Percy returns the bowl and tells Zeus the truth, Zeus is like, we're good bro, go on your way. He actually did do as much as he could to save his daughter. They're not allowed to interfere. So within the rules, he was trying to do the best he could. This version of Zeus, which is willing to turn his daughter into a tree, yes, it is more accurate to Greek mythology, but it also makes me question that maybe we might be better off with Kronos. Cause yeah, Luke has a point. Fuck this guy.
To us, and maybe Zeus spares your life. Zeus doesn't do mercy. Look how he spared his own daughter.
It also makes Talia more sus because she actually has a valid reason for turning on the gods. This will obviously be a source of pressure between them, but it was more subtle in the books. And I was holding someone who was destined to be my best friend, or possibly my worst enemy. And finally, the bigger battle at Camp Half-Blood. Also never happened in the books. There was a final battle, but it was between a clan of centaurs with paint guns and Luke's monsters on the ship. Once they get back to camp, they sort of just have another chariot race, which to be honest, I'm glad they cut out because it didn't really add much and took away a lot of the pressure from the story with a weirdly tame ending. That being said, I thought the big battle in the show was also pointless and there was better use of the budget. Like, they really should have kept the centaur fight. Don't get me wrong, the fight itself was cool and Talia being reborn was epic. Not as epic as it could have been, but I'm not going back on myself. But the whole thing was just unnecessary and it also meant that Kronos' plan just didn't make any sense. Like, why not let them restore Talia first and then invade the camp? They barely used any monsters anyway, and if Luke really does believe that Talia will be on his side, then it is clearly stated that a child of the Big Three joining them would restore Kronos anyway.
If a child of the eldest three were to join our ranks, that would be a powerful show of loyalty to Kronos. We wouldn't need more recruits, we wouldn't even need the fleets.
But yeah, that was the finale. I had such controversial opinions about that final episode. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comment section what you thought. Anyway, I have a section I wanted to call Quick Thoughts, where I just throw in a bunch of stuff that I didn't really know where to fit in anywhere else. So here we go. Cece's very different in the book. She's actually a man-hating feminist. She turns Percy into a rodent and tries to recruit Annabeth to be a wizard. This new direction in the show with the focus on fatal flaws was interesting, but not necessary. I felt like it was a little too heavy on the tell, don't show for me. But the Sirens was cool. I liked how they took two villains in the book and combined them in a way that made sense, but I still prefer the book. Because in the book, Annabeth's motivation is different. In the book, Annabeth knows that the siren is coming up, but she purposely chooses to hear the song. They say the sirens sing the truth about what you desire. They tell you things about yourself you didn't even realize. That's what's so enchanting. If you survive, you become wiser. I want to hear them. How often will I get that chance? It showed Annabeth's fatal flaw instead of telling us. She knew what the sirens could do, but she couldn't help herself. Her thirst for curiosity and the fact that she's so arrogant and prideful meant she overestimated herself, and she put the whole mission in danger. I didn't realize, she murmured. What? Her eyes were the same color as the mist over the siren's island. How powerful the temptation would be. Plus, Percy isn't weirdly immune to the song like in the show. He almost falls for it without hearing the music.
Just you.
Next, this is a nitpick, but whatever, it's my video. How did Sally get to the gang so quickly to drive them? In the book, Chiron has a space-bending centaur herd to go save them. You have no idea how many times I tried that, what a tongue twister. But Sally's a normal person, and America is huge. There is no way she would have driven there in time to save them. Also, why is she having hero dreams?
I had a dream, too.
This is a demigod feature. I don't like the fact that she's having them. And finally, and this is not a nitpick, why did Percy not get his shield from Tyson? You know the famous shield that comes out of the watch? It's iconic and a really important step into Percy feeling more prepared to be part of this world. Now he's got Riptide and he's also got a shield, he's ready for battle. I kept expecting it to come, and it never did. And there was a whole battle scene. Why did it not come? Whatever, that's the end. Now I know that a lot of people like the finale, and I'm not here to rain on your parade if you did. If you loved it, I love that for you. I did think it was good, but I obviously had problems with some of the changes. Anyway, this video was long as hell, but there were quite a lot of changes that the show made from the book. Hell, I didn't even cover all of them or this video would be twice as long. Even though it isn't perfect, it is nice to have a Percy Jackson media that's actually fun. And honestly, this felt more like the first movie to me than the first season. Like they went for more vibe rather than accuracy. Also, the actors are starting to come into their own. I feel like the actor choice for Percy is really starting to shine, and as the story progresses and it becomes more serious, he'll only improve. So if you haven't seen season 2, I would say give it a chance, but just be prepared mentally for all the changes that are coming your way. I mean, think about it this way, okay? Think about it this way. This season has 3 main advantages going for it. 1, season 1 has lowered your expectations. You're not going in there with rose-tinted glasses. 2, the second book is the weakest of the original series, if we're being completely honest. So it could use some changes. And 3, while we may disagree on the quality of the first movie, what unites us as a people, as a fandom, as my subscribers, is the idea that the second movie is a sin upon this earth that needs to be removed. Honestly, what the hell was this? So yeah, just go watch it and then watch my video again and see if I missed anything. That is all for today. If you've stayed this long, you must have enjoyed the video. So if you like book versus TV show deep dives, go check out my other videos. They're pretty great if I do say so myself, but obviously I'm biased, so you're gonna have to find out yourself. And obviously don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. For every new subscriber, I'll do 1 push-up, and for every comment, I'll do 1 squat. So if you want to help this YouTuber become an absolute unit, then engage to add 1 more beefcake to this world. Otherwise, that is enough for now. Have a great day and click the screen now for your next amazing watch.